All right, it is part two of our two-part conversation with one Danny Hultzen at home with the Who's. We are actually in Danny's car as we talk. It's not his home away from home, but he's not exactly living in his normal digs out in Arizona. We talked a little bit about that earlier, Danny. But let's dive into some other questions here as we move along. Sound good?
Sounds good. Yep.
How close were you to potentially calling it a career and moving on with your life?
I always knew that I wanted to keep going, and I wanted to make it happen, but whether or not it was gonna happen was, I did have some doubts with. I don't think I was ever close to fully hanging them up, but there were points of realization. It was like, damn, this may not happen for me, but I know I'm gonna keep going.
One of your stops through this process, I know, was a return to your alma mater, where you came back in 2017 to finish up your degree. Was that always part of the plan?
I always knew that I wanted to go back to school and finish up. That was something that was really important to me, really important to my family. And the timing of it was great. I had to get a second shoulder surgery right at the same time that my contract with the Seattle Mariners ended. So I was able to enroll in classes that started around then. So it was really perfect timing that I was able to come back to school, finish up, and be able to work with the baseball team again, which was a tremendous opportunity. That was so much fun. I was rehabbing there, and it just turned into something I wanted to be a part of. And I remember one day I went up to Oak, and I was like, yeah, this has been fun, man. I thought I wanted to get away from the game for a hot minute, but he welcomed me with open arms, which was fantastic. So I got to be a part of the student coaching staff, which was a great experience.
How much are you still in touch with so many of those guys you played with from that team that first made UVA baseball a regular in the College World Series?
Yeah, it's been. I'm so happy that we've been able to stay in touch. Whether it's a couple guys are in the DC area, a couple guys are in Chicago. When I was up there, I got to see them, and whether it's fantasy football or just one of the a big group chat or something like that on our phones, we've got a really, really solid group of guys that all stick together.
How did you all take in that 2015 national championship? Where were you, and did you experience it with any of your former teammates? What was that like?
Yeah. So I was in Arizona. I was rehabbing one of my, most days between 2012 and 2019, I was rehabbing in Arizona. So, and I remember being at a sports bar with Phil Gosselin. I don't think anybody in Arizona really cared about the College World Series at that point. So the one TV was like on one of the small TVs on the side. I remember just going berserk with him and just freaking out. And I remember everybody was staring at us like, what are you guys doing? Nobody like, but we enjoyed it. It was cool to share that moment with them. And that was very, very fun to watch.
Yes. Speaking of the College World Series, the last time you wore the uniform, it was 2011. I made reference to it. You had a really memorable performance in that final game against South Carolina. It was a 3-2 loss. Despite being sick, you started and went 3 innings, striking out 8 of 10, one of the most dominating showings I've seen before you had to leave that game.
I'll spare you the details, but it was not a good situation. I gave everything I possibly could out there, and Coach O'Connor was fantastic in that situation. It was really, really a crazy moment, and unfortunately, we were just on the wrong side of a really good baseball game.
With the minor league season hanging kind of by a thread right now, where does that leave you guys around the country? And
those are questions that I think we're all still waiting to be answered. The main point is that we'll be ready when they make those decisions, whether it's a taxi squad situation or another spring training or a separate spring training or sticking around Arizona while other guys go somewhere else. Like that's out of my control, and over the years that's something I've learned to not concern myself with, other than just being ready for whatever happens.
Let's take a moment to hit some lightning round questions. Are you ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
What has been your favorite UVA sports moment since you left grounds?
Definitely watching the 2015 team win the national championship. That was a beautiful moment. And then, I guess outside of baseball, watching the basketball team win a couple years ago, that was really special to watch too. That was during spring training too. So all the UVA guys that were out here, we'd always get together to watch those games. That was something that was really cool to be a part of.
Best advice you got as a player, and from whom?
Playing for Oak, Mac, and Kays. Those are the 3 of the best in the business. And I could go down listing lesson after lesson that I learned from those guys. But I remember Mac always talking about being where your feet are. just trying to live in the moment, not worrying about things that are out of your control. And that's always stuck with me. Just be where your feet are.
All right, there it is, the one and only Danny Hultzen. Danny, get back out there, man. You got your muscle shirt on, just getting bigger every day.
Yeah, that's right, man. There's not a lot to do out here when it's 1,000 degrees. The sleeves come off at 100 degrees, so you're getting a good tan out here.
All right, sun's out, guns out. Thanks for joining us, my friend. All right,
thanks for having me.
Our pleasure. At Home with Who's, presented by UVA Health. No matter the arena, no matter the field, your best deserves our best. UVAHealth.com.